Goodness gracious. I just woke up and I had to clear my throat. Let me clear my throat. But yeah, anyways, what is going on, guys? It is your boy, Kimbo here, and it's time for a special little video. I'm going to call this one, basically my thoughts on Beyblade Burst Turbo. So, anybody who doesn't know, I'm sure everybody knows at this point, but it was like at least like a day or two ago, Zanky actually went out and found some of the Beyblade Burst Turbo products. And so, like, we're starting to get like a little idea of it since he found them and such. Obviously watched his video, Also, big thanks to Zanky for like actually like going out and getting the products and showing us how the line's actually gonna be. But yeah, so I guess I'm gonna get into my thoughts for it. So anybody who doesn't know, I just actually saw the video myself. Basically Hasbro, in my opinion, they done goofed a little bit. Now, you're gonna want to stay and like hear all of the things that I have to say, because I'm obviously like an open-minded Beyblader, Baytuber. I've been around for 6 years. I was here when like Hasbro had their Metal Fury line. Remember when they had all the kind of lighter versions of like, they had like Cosmic Pegasus and then Jade Jupiter and Phantom Orion. They had all the Hasbro versions for those, and they cut away metal from them, Now, let me just give my thoughts on this. So, in my opinion, Hasbro is diversifying the game more by putting, like, like, they kind of took the metal out of it. So, like, the first line, at least, like, Wonder Valtryek and then Brutal Luinor and such, all the base on this first line, there's not actually metal in them. They took out the metal. Hasbro took out the metal. And, I don't know, in my head, it's like, it's history repeating itself, dude. Hasbro had a pretty good line with like Metal Fusion and Metal Masters, and then Metal Fury, they completely 180'd and made their own thing, and people weren't a big fan of it, because like they had the Hasbro versions like Jade Jupiter, Scythe Chronos, Phantom Orion, a lot of the legendary bays and such, and they had Mercury Anubis in like a special like little tournament thing that you can only get in like tournaments and stuff at Toys R Us, but yeah, but to make up for that, they had to make Hyperblades. Now, for Turbo, they haven't put the metal in the bays, like especially at least the first wave of Turbo. But the bays have like the sling shock feature, which is supposed to like kind of switch it around a little bit. I think it's supposed to like make it where like the base can go around more aggressively and to fit with the stadium. Now, honestly, in my opinion, that's fine. That's okay. The way that I think Hasbro is gonna have to go about this, they're gonna have to do like the same sort of thing that they did before with Metal Fury. So, literally, it's history repeating itself. The third season of the Beyblade season, like, of the Beyblade series, and then, like, something big happens and people are not a fan and people are going to be really, really angry and triggered. Like, the hollowed out Hasbro versions of like a lot of bays. For one thing, it did diversify the game. That's one thing I'm saying, like giving them props because they diversified the game. And then they went and they made Hyperblades later on because they saw that people were like, just like, like where are the actual like 4D versions of these bays, but they were also pretty difficult to get. In my opinion, what they're gonna have to do for this, I hope Hasbro actually like acknowledges me or something. I don't know. Hasbro's probably not gonna acknowledge me, but I hope somebody from Hasbro watches my videos and such, because like I'm a big fan of Beyblade myself, and I was here when everything happened during Metal Fury. They haven't acknowledged me enough to send me that big box or anything, which I honestly was gonna use to like give back to you guys, but it's all good. It happens. It's fine. But in my opinion, Hasbro, what you gotta do is, like, they're gonna have to do, like, a sort of Hyperblade 2 sort of line, you know what I mean? So, basically, they have the base coming out right now, they have plastic on them, just plastic, which, yeah, they'll diversify the game, and maybe they're worried about, like, just, like, the Cho-Z or Turbo bays outclassing, like, the older bays, but, I mean, that's also kind of how it goes with the cycle of... that's how it goes with the cycle of Beyblade. And, like, I've even seen comments, like, people being really, really triggered about the fact that, like, fake bays that are made by, like, other companies, like, Rapidity and such, some of these fake bay creators are actually still putting in the metal in, and some people are seeing the fake bays as being better than the Hasbro bays because they actually have metal in them, and that's, like, the whole gimmick for Cho-Z. Honestly, that is the whole gimmick for Cho-Z or Turbo. I see what Hasbro's trying to do to diversify the game, which, like, it's kind of cool, but I hope that they do, like, a sort of HyperBlades 2 line, so, you know, they actually have other bays, like, you know, like a Wonder Valtryek with the metal in it, and, like, same thing for Z Achilles, Emperor Fornius, Brutal Luinor, and all the other bays, you know. I hope they're not going to stick with the Slingshot thing with no metal for all of these bays. If so, it's gonna be one of those things that people aren't gonna be the biggest fan. Like, anybody who's like watched the TT show and such and knows the bays are made out of metal and such, because that's like the whole gimmick, they're not gonna be the biggest fans of these, you know. I know like a few people that have already like canceled their orders from like Entertainment Earth and such because they wanted to get the bays, and then they're like, yeah, I'm just not getting them because they don't have any metal in them, and it's like, what's the point? They're gonna get wrecked by like the TT version or such. But yeah, I hope that Hasbro makes like sort of a HyperBlades line for these bays, you know, that are actually like really, really show accurate. Because like, granted, the ones they're doing right now for the first waves aren't like right spot on with the show. You know, they're switching up the colors a bit, even like the color of the plastic, which was supposed to be metal, but still, if they're worried about like a power, like sort of power thing or a balance thing, it's like TT already did it though. You know, TT already put all the metal in the bays and stuff, so it's like, you might as well put the metal in the bays, because you got to. You know, like, it makes it like show accurate and people will be really interested in it. Like, it makes the bays heavier and such, and yeah, it switches up the game and stuff, but like, you could even switch it up by like making the slopes on them a little bit weaker or something. Even that, you know, I'd say even putting like kind of like shorter or like weaker slopes on these new bays because they like weigh so much. That's one way you could balance out the game, Hasbro. You know what I mean? Like, Hasbro managed to make some layers that were strong under TT, well, like, weak under TT strong, but also vice versa. You know, they made them, like, kind of weaker, some of them, looking at Nepstrius, big time. But, yeah, they could even do that if they're worried about, like, a balance thing, you know? But, I don't know, just, like, me personally, I'm like, it's something new, and I hope, like, I really want to see, like, metal bays, like, you know, like, the Chozetsu bays, like, you know, turbo bays had metal in them. Like, that's the whole gimmick for it, dude. That is the whole entire gimmick. But it does add something different. But, like, literally, it's important to, like, be accurate with these things, you know? I mean, they did great with Evolution. Like, it was, like, honestly spot on. Like, so perfect, in my opinion. Like, it was amazing. And, like, just how well they were doing with this, like, you know, Turbo, you thought it was going to be really good. And then they just, like, took out the metal and put in plastic, you know, which a lot of people, like I said, aren't going to be fans of. I'm an open-minded blader, and obviously I'll probably get the bays anyways, because, you know, they're Beyblades and they add something different to the game. But, like, it would be just so cool to just have, like, the metal bays, you know, like the bays with the metal inside of them. Like I said, you can fix the slopes if you're worried about them becoming too overpowered or something, you know. But, yeah, that's one thing I was, like, honestly, like, pretty disappointed about just figuring out. But, like, I hope they don't do this with all of the bays in this series, you know. I really hope not, because, like, they have a chance to do something really, really big. They're making their own Hasbro exclusive bays again for this series, and it's like, if they have metal in them and such, you know, like a little bit of metal, it'll actually make them viable, like, against even, like, TT bays and such, you know? Like, they'll be able to, people will use Hasbro bays more, you know? And there's a lot of people that test out Hasbro bays in the WBO and such, you know, like my boy KJ. But, like, there's a lot of people that, like, test them out, and just switching that up big time, it's like, it's sort of making it look like Hasbro's, like, sort of a second cheaper option. Like, yeah, I get, like, production and stuff. People are, like, you know, it'll help with, like, production and stuff, you know? Like, you know, it'll be cheaper to produce them, and that's why they're, like, $9.99. Yeah, but still, like, people are gonna want, like, anime-accurate bays, you know? Like, I love having the weight of the Chozetsu bays, honestly. Like, I really, really do. Like, the Chozetsu bays have been growing on me big time, and I just love, like, the big recoil and the big contact with that metal on it, too, you know? And, like, taking that away, it's like, Honestly, the way this is starting, it's very, very reminiscent to me of Metal Fury, like I said, you know, because, like, Hasbro messed up doing Metal Fury at the very beginning, but then they corrected it by making HyperBlades. I hope that they do the same thing for this. Like, the Slingshot system, yeah, it's cool because you can switch around the driver into 2 different modes and stuff. That is really cool. You know, it does add to the game. But, like, they gotta focus on, like, the anime bays, too. You know, like, actually putting the metal on them. They shouldn't be, like, really, really cheap with this. Because it's like people are gonna get, like, upset and triggered, and you might not have as many sales. And I know they don't want, like, Turbo to be a flop, you know. It's like, yeah, people will still buy the bays, but not as many people. It's a given, you know. But, yeah, I hope they do like a HyperBlade type thing where they actually make the bays with metal in them. because then people will be really, really happy, and they'll make people happy. And I hope they don't wait too late to do it, because like they waited a little too late to do the Hyper Blades during Metal Fury, and like they were really rare too. It was hard to find some. Honestly, like I got all the Hyper Blades. I managed to get all of them, but I didn't get them all in my stores. You know, I had to like do some trades for some and such, and then get some online, and got really lucky finding some online, because like you couldn't really find any in stores. You could ask pretty much anybody that was around during Metal Fury, like especially like a big Bay tuber. If you found like the Hyper Blades Blitz Striker, like the Blitz Unicorno, Hasbro's version, you're lucky, because that thing was extremely rare. It was the same sort of thing for like Phantom Orion. J Jupiter was up there too. The only ones I saw in store were like Flash Sagittario, Cosmic Pegasus. I think I saw an Orion like one time. No, I didn't even see Orion in the stores. Like those are the only two that I really, really saw. I think I saw like J Jupiter too, but like not many of them I saw in the stores, you know. They were rare and they were hard to get. But yeah, I hope they do sort of like a Hyper Blades type thing with this, because people won't be happy if there's just plastic instead of the metal that's supposed to be in the Chozy bays, you know. And like that's like an honest thing, you know. It'll make it so much better if they actually just like put the metal in them. That's the whole gimmick for these bays, and they'll be a lot better. But yeah, man, that's my honest opinion on it. You know, I'm like, they're bays, and they're gonna be fun regardless. You know, they'll be really fun, and yeah, it does sort of balance the system, but like also it's holding back the bay's potential, not putting the metal in them like it's supposed to have. But yeah, anyways, like I said, I am an open-minded Baytuber. Anybody who's like been a fan of my channel knows that. They know, like, you can ask anyone, you know. I'm an open-minded dude. I've bought fake Beyblades for my skits, for goodness sake, you know. Like, I'm an open-minded Beyblader and Baytuber, but like Hasbro's just holding back doing this, you know. And I hope that they do the Hyperblade type treatment with them and put metal on some of them, even like if it's just like the ones in the sets, or like down the line in different waves, like doing recolors of these bays like to actually match like in the show, and putting the metal on them. They'll get more sales. People will love them, you know. Just saying, you know. Anyways, that's what I think about Turbo. I think it's off to a little bit of a rough start. Hopefully Hasbro sees this and just like is willing to like put some metal on the base, and don't make the same mistake that they made during Metal Fury, because it's literally like the third season they messed up, and in this third season they're messing up a little bit at the very beginning. But yeah, man, just gotta be hopeful for what's gonna happen. Anyways, hope you guys enjoyed. If you did, be sure to slice that like button down below. Let me know how I did. If you're new to my channel, definitely be sure to subscribe for some epic content, because I upload daily. And if you haven't already, be sure to ring that bell by my channel name to be notified whenever I upload a video. And yeah, like I said, Hasbro has a lot of potential with this. They're making their own custom bays and stuff, and if they put metal in them, they'll actually be viable to like actual like competitive things, you know. But if they don't, then maybe not. And people just see them as like, oh yeah, they're custom bays, and like, you know, they're cool, but they're not really viable. Like, some people like using bays competitively, and I'd love to use like some Hasbro exclusives competitively, but they'd have to have like some sort of metal or something in them to make them actually sort of competitive against like a lot of other things, like, you know, like TT's bays, like Winning Valkyrie and House Salamander and such. And now we got that crazy like heavy Dead Hades coming out. Well, it just got released, but yeah. That's just all my thoughts on it. Like I said, I'm open-minded, but like, Hasbro can definitely do some things to like make the series like crazy. Like, they have a lot of potential with this. I don't want to see it wasted. But yeah, like I said, hope you guys enjoyed. If you did, be sure to slice that like button down below. Let me know how I did. If you're new to my channel, definitely be sure to subscribe for some epic content, because I upload daily. And if you haven't already, be sure to ring that bell by my channel name to be notified whenever I upload a video. So yeah, guys, till next time, it is your boy, Kimbo, signing off. See you later. Thanks for watching. Until then, stay awesome and let it rip. I'm up out of here. Also, feel free to put your thoughts and such in the comments below. I'm really curious about what everybody else thinks about this too, you know. So, yeah. Definitely give me some feedback, you know. Let me know what y'all are thinking. But I'll see you guys later.